Do you ever find yourself looking at your phone ring, seeing a friend's name pop up, and feeling a slight sense of dread? Or perhaps a dinner invitation arrives, and your first thought isn't excitement, but rather, oh, I really just want to stay home tonight. It's a quiet truth many of us in our later years experience. Isn't it that gentle tug towards solitude? A growing preference for the quiet comfort of our own space over bustling social gatherings. You might even find yourself wondering, is there something wrong with me? Am I becoming a recluse? That thought can be quite painful, creating a subtle unease about a natural shift happening within us. Well, here's a surprising truth that might ease your mind. You are absolutely not alone. This isn't a flaw or a sign you're losing your spark. In fact, what you're experiencing is often a very normal and sometimes even beneficial psychological shift that happens as we move through different stages of life. It's a quiet secret many of us share, but rarely talk about openly. This video is going to shed some light on that secret. We're going to explore 6 profound psychological reasons why many of us find ourselves avoiding people more as we age, giving you a deeper understanding of these changes and perhaps even helping you feel more at peace with them. So, settle in, because by the end of this video, you might discover something about yourself and this stage of life that will truly surprise you. Let's dive right into the first of these fascinating reasons, and it's something called a socio-emotional selectivity theory. Now, don't let the fancy name scare you off. It's quite simple and incredibly insightful. Imagine life as a journey, and when we're young, the path stretches endlessly before us. We feel like we have all the time in the world, so we're busy exploring every side trail, meeting everyone, collecting a wide array of acquaintances. Because we're focused on gaining information, building our network, and planning for a long future, we cast a very wide net, socially speaking. But as we age, something subtle shifts in our perception of time. It's not about fearing the end, but rather becoming acutely aware that our time is precious and finite. This awareness naturally leads us to reevaluate our priorities. We start asking ourselves, how do I truly want to spend this valuable time I have left? This shift isn't about withdrawing from life. It's about refining it. We begin to prioritize emotional meaning and genuine connection over sheer quantity of interactions. Those superficial friendships, the ones built on polite small talk or obligation, start to fall away. They no longer feel as fulfilling or as necessary. Instead, we gravitate towards the people who bring us joy, who offer true companionship, who understand us without needing many words. We cherish our long-standing relationships with family and close friends, those individuals with whom we share a deep history and genuine affection. It's about quality over quantity, about investing our emotional energy where it truly counts, where it truly nourishes our spirit. Think about it, isn't it more comforting to spend an evening with 1 or 2 cherished friends, sharing quiet laughter and meaningful conversation, than to feel drained after a large, noisy gathering where you barely connect with anyone? This theory suggests that this preference isn't a sign of social decline, but rather a wise, deliberate choice to maximize emotional well-being as we age. We are selecting experiences and relationships that bring us the most profound satisfaction and emotional richness, curating our social world to align with what truly matters to us in this stage of life. It's a beautiful process of refinement. Now, flowing naturally from that idea of conserving what's precious, let's consider our second psychological reason: reduced energy and increased cognitive load. As we get older, it's undeniable that our physical energy levels can shift. What might have been an effortless outing in our younger days, like a busy shopping trip or attending a bustling community event, might now feel like a significant expenditure of energy. It's not just physical fatigue, there's a cognitive component too. Social interactions, especially with new people or in large groups, demand a lot from our brains. We're constantly processing information, interpreting facial expressions, understanding vocal tones, remembering names and details, keeping up with multiple conversations, thinking of appropriate responses, and navigating social nuances. This is what we call cognitive load. In our youth, our brains are often like super efficient processors, able to juggle many tasks simultaneously with ease. But as we age, while our wisdom certainly grows, our cognitive processing speed can sometimes slow down, and the effort required to manage that social information can increase. Imagine trying to follow a fast-paced conversation in a noisy restaurant when you also have a bit of hearing loss, or trying to remember all the new faces and names at a large social gathering. It can be genuinely exhausting. After such an event, you might find yourself feeling completely drained, needing significant time to recharge. This isn't laziness. It's a natural response to increased effort. Our minds and bodies are simply telling us that these types of interactions require more resources than they once did. So, we instinctively start to pick and choose. We might opt for quieter, smaller gatherings, or prefer one-on-one visits where the cognitive demands are lower, and we can truly relax and connect without feeling overwhelmed. It's about wisely managing our energy reserves, recognizing that our well-being is paramount. We learn to say no to things that will leave us feeling depleted, and yes to interactions that energize and uplift us, rather than drain us. This isn't a sign of disinterest in people. It's a practical recognition of our current capacity and a smart choice for maintaining our overall vitality. And that brings us to our third reason, which is really quite liberating and increased comfort with solitude. When we're younger, there's often a strong societal pressure to be constantly busy, constantly social, to have a packed calendar. Being alone might even carry a subtle stigma associated with loneliness or being left out. But as we age, something beautiful often happens. We develop a profound and genuine comfort with our own company. We've lived enough life, experienced enough, reflected enough to truly appreciate the peace and quiet that solitude offers. It's not about being lonely. It's about being contentedly alone. This comfort allows us to pursue our own interests without external pressures. Maybe it's reading that book you've always wanted to read, tending to your garden, pursuing a forgotten hobby, or simply enjoying a cup of tea while watching the world go by. These moments of solitude become opportunities for self-reflection, for creativity, for simply being. There's a deep wisdom that often comes with age, allowing us to find joy and fulfillment in activities that don't require external validation or constant interaction. We've learned that true happiness doesn't always lie in constant engagement with the outside world, but often within the quiet depths of our own being. This isn't a retreat from life. It's an embrace of self. It's a recognition that time spent in reflection and quiet enjoyment is just as valuable, if not more so, than time spent in bustling social settings. This newfound comfort allows us to be truly present with ourselves, to nurture our inner world, and to find a profound sense of peace that doesn't depend on others. It's a wonderful gift of later life, enabling us to truly savor our days on our own terms. Now that we've delved into why we prioritize meaningful connections, manage our social energy, and find solace in our own company, let's explore even more reasons that shape our social landscape as we age, continuing our journey into understanding why our social patterns shift. Let's talk about the fourth psychological reason: a profound desire for authenticity and a remarkably lower tolerance for drama. Think back to your younger years. Perhaps you had friends you kept around out of habit, or acquaintances you tolerated despite their negativity, simply because you were part of a larger social group or felt obligated. Maybe you found yourself caught up in trivial gossip, workplace politics, or family squabbles that drained your energy but seemed unavoidable. As we age, something very powerful happens. Our patience for anything less than genuine connection simply wears thin. We've seen enough, experienced enough, to recognize what truly matters and what is just noise. This means we actively seek out relationships that are built on trust, sincerity, and mutual respect. We no longer have the energy or inclination to engage with superficiality, backbiting, or constant negativity, the drama that might have felt compelling or even exciting in our youth now feels utterly exhausting and pointless. We become discerning curators of our emotional landscape, choosing to spend time only with those who uplift us, who genuinely care, and with whom we can be our true, unvarnished selves. If a relationship consistently leaves us feeling drained, frustrated, or unseen, we are much more likely to step back from it. This isn't about being unkind or withdrawing from life. It's about protecting our inner peace and emotional well-being. We understand that our time is too precious to waste on interactions that don't nourish our spirit. It's a powerful act of self-care, a declaration that we value our peace of mind above all else. This desire for authenticity is a testament to our growth and wisdom, leading us to seek out deeper, more fulfilling connections and gracefully distance ourselves from anything less. We want real conversations, real laughter, and real support, and we're less willing to compromise on that. Our fifth reason is a poignant, yet very real, aspect of aging changes in our social circles. Often due to loss or distance, life is dynamic, and as the years go by, the social landscape around us inevitably changes. Friends might move to be closer to their children, or for warmer climates, scattering our established social networks more profoundly, and perhaps more painfully. We face the reality of losing cherished friends and family members. It's a part of life's natural cycle, but it undoubtedly shrinks our immediate social world. Each loss creates a void, and while new connections can certainly be formed, the rich history and shared understanding with long-term companions are irreplaceable. This natural attrition can lead to a feeling that there are fewer readily available opportunities for social interaction. The familiar bridge group might dissolve, the coffee club might dwindle, or the once vibrant neighborhood gatherings might become less frequent. It's not that we suddenly dislike people. It's that the very structure of our social opportunities has shifted. This can sometimes lead to a sense of reluctance to seek out new connections, especially if the effort feels daunting after experiencing loss. There's a natural grieving process for lost relationships, and it can take time to feel ready to put ourselves out there again. It's important to acknowledge this reality with kindness towards ourselves. It's not a failing. It's a consequence of having lived a full life and accumulated many meaningful relationships, some of which are now gone. Understanding this helps us validate our feelings and recognize that this reason for avoidance is often tied to circumstances beyond our control, rather than a conscious decision to be antisocial. We are simply navigating the evolving social currents of our later years, which can sometimes feel like sailing on a much quieter sea. And finally, our sixth psychological reason ties into the very practical realities of aging physical limitations and sensory changes. Let's be honest, our bodies change as we age. Things like hearing loss can subtly but significantly impact our desire to socialize. Imagine trying to have a conversation in a bustling restaurant when you can barely hear what the person across from you is saying. The effort required just to follow the thread of a discussion, to lean in, to ask, "What did you say?" repeatedly, can be incredibly frustrating and exhausting. It can make social outings feel less like enjoyment and more like a chore, leading us to naturally avoid situations where our hearing is challenged. Similarly, declining vision can make navigating unfamiliar places difficult or reduce the enjoyment of activities that once brought us together, like going to the cinema or playing certain card games. Beyond sensory changes, mobility issues can also play a huge role. Perhaps walking long distances is tiring, or getting in and out of cars is a challenge, or navigating steps and uneven surfaces becomes a source of anxiety. These physical realities can make attending social events that require movement or travel feel like a monumental task. The thought of the physical discomfort or the logistical hurdles might outweigh the anticipated pleasure of the interaction. It's not that we don't want to see our friends. It's that the physical demands of doing so have become a barrier. This isn't a psychological aversion to people, but a practical response to the body's changing capacities. Recognizing this helps us understand that our avoidance isn't a personal failing, but often a very sensible way to manage our physical well-being and prevent discomfort. It highlights the importance of choosing social settings that are comfortable and accessible for us, or perhaps even shifting to different modes of interaction, like phone calls or video chats, that bypass these physical hurdles. It's about adapting, not abandoning. We've journeyed through 6 powerful psychological reasons that often explain why many of us find ourselves seeking out more solitude and becoming more selective with our social engagements as we age. We've seen how our evolving perception of time leads us to prioritize deep, meaningful connections over a wide array of acquaintances, a wise act of emotional curation. We've understood that conserving our precious energy and managing the increased cognitive load of social interactions isn't a sign of disinterest, but a smart way to protect our vitality. We've also celebrated the liberating truth that finding profound comfort and contentment in our own company is a beautiful gift of later life, allowing for introspection and personal enrichment. Beyond these introspective shifts, we recognized that our growing desire for genuine authenticity, coupled with a remarkably lower tolerance for any kind of drama, means we are simply no longer willing to waste our precious time on superficial or draining interactions. We value honesty and true connection above all else, and we acknowledge the very real, sometimes painful, impact of changing social circles, the natural process of losing loved ones or friends moving away, which inherently alters our social landscape. Finally, we looked at the practical realities of physical limitations and sensory changes, like hearing or mobility issues, which can make certain social situations genuinely challenging, leading to avoidance not out of choice, but out of necessity and self-preservation. Understanding these reasons is so incredibly liberating, isn't it? It helps us shed that unnecessary guilt or self-doubt that can sometimes creep in when we choose a quiet evening at home over a noisy gathering. It's not about becoming antisocial. It's about becoming more intentional, more self-aware, and often, more at peace with ourselves. This isn't a decline. It's an evolution. It's about recognizing that our social needs and preferences naturally change with age, just as our bodies and minds do. The secret, if you will, is that this shift is often a sign of wisdom, self-knowledge, and a profound respect for our own well-being. Remember, small changes can make a big difference to your happiness and sense of connection, even as your social patterns evolve. Instead of feeling pressured to attend every event, perhaps choose 1 or 2 meaningful gatherings a month that truly bring you joy. Or explore new ways of connecting that suit your current energy levels and physical comfort, like regular video calls with distant family, joining a quiet book club, or volunteering for a cause you care about in a setting that's comfortable for you. Perhaps you might find immense joy in connecting with just 1 or 2 cherished friends for a quiet cup of tea or a peaceful walk, rather than feeling obligated to be part of larger groups. The key is to be gentle with yourself, listen to your inner wisdom, and honor your evolving needs. Embrace the comfort of solitude, but also purposefully seek out the kinds of connections that truly nourish your soul, on your own terms. We've all experienced some of these feelings, and it's incredibly helpful to know we're not alone. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Have you noticed these shifts in yourself? What has helped you navigate your changing social landscape as you've gotten older? Please share your experiences and insights in the comments below. Your perspective could really help someone else who might be feeling the same way. If you found this video insightful and comforting, please give it a thumbs up. It truly helps us reach more people who might benefit from this message. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to our channel for more content designed to help you live your best life at every age, with wisdom and joy. Thank you for joining me today. Live your best life at every age.